my fellow readers. Today I'm going to be talking about The Shadow in the Glass. And this was one of my LitJoy crate books. I think this was, like, what was it, April? I don't know. It was whatever the box, whatever the crate was I got before. My one I just opened. It was that one. And as always, I wanted to review it because I think it's especially important to know like the quality of the books that you are receiving in LitJoy Crate. So The Shadow in the Glass is a mix of Cinderella and Faust. So it's like Cinderella meets Faust in the story. And I did actually find this like super enjoyable. It was not what I was expecting, but I think it was better. I know that there are some like mixed reviews about this because some people didn't like it, and I'm wondering if they just didn't like maybe like how dark it was, or maybe they didn't like the ending. I don't know. I did enjoy this. So again, this is a Cinderella type tale. So the main character, Ella, she is taken in after the death of her parents by this wealthy woman and her husband. And the couple actually have a son as well. But Ella's mother and the woman who takes her in were like good friends. So she, I think, promised to take care of her. And Ella was sort of raised since that time with the belief that, you know, she was going to get her proper education. She's raised as a lady, all with the intention that when she comes of age, she will be married and have a better life than what would otherwise happen to her, like if she were just orphaned. However, the wonderful mother that took her in ends up dying suddenly, and her husband wasn't such a nice guy. He spends a lot of the family's money on alcohol, and the other part of the time he is, well, to put it bluntly, sleeping around with his servants, even though they are unwilling. So not such a nice guy. So at the actual start of this book, that's all already happened to Ella, and she has been demoted to being a maid in the household. So he claims he can't afford to keep her on as his stepdaughter, and that now she has to be a maid. And it's rough for her. She does have some like friends in the household, and her one friend at the start of it actually is pregnant, and this is about to take a negative turn for that poor girl because she's not married and has nowhere to turn, and she's really going to be ousted from the house because they're not going to care for a servant who is having an illegitimate child. So Ella is very like torn up about that. On top of that, she's really dealing with trying to put off the advances of her former stepfather, which, yeah, that's creepy. That's very disturbing. But he keeps trying to like get her alone in a room and do all these things, and Ella's just like she's so done with everything. So she ends up at one point kind of hiding away in the library, which she is right now forbidden to even use because she's no longer a family member. She's just a servant. But she does end up hiding away in there to try to escape into the worlds that she used to enjoy when she would read. And she discovers a new book. And I'm trying to remember if that was actually the Tale of Faust. And then suddenly she is face to face with a black-eyed woman and really has offered her own bargain. And she is told like she can wish for whatever she wants and have it come true. All she needs to do is trade away, her soul. And yeah, Ella does. It does say that she'll do that. Of course, she believes that if she doesn't make enough wishes, that her kind of bargain with the black-eyed woman will never be able to be fulfilled, if that makes sense. It's a whole thing. But Ella does, try to make wishes, and also quickly comes to learn that there's more to the bargain than that, and that each wish she makes also has a price to pay. Yeah. This is really dark and twisty and complex. I don't know how much I want to get into it. I will say beyond, there are like moments of lightness in the book. One of which is she did have like a stepbrother figure. So as I mentioned earlier, the stepfather and mother, or adoptive father and mother, that's more what it is, adoptive father and mother, did have a son, and he's been away, so he has no idea about what the dad has been doing to Ella, and really within the household itself. Like, he has no idea how bad it is, but he does return at one point and tries to do his best in the situation to kind of rein his dad in and help Ella out. But I think because the temptation is there for Ella to be able to resolve things with her wishes, things don't always quite turn out the way that you would want them to, or you would hope that they do. But I think that works for the better for the book, because it really is more of the cautionary tale rather than the, fairy tale of Cinderella. Now, the original Cinderella story in and of itself was very dark. So we won't get into that, but this is kind of a step above the original Cinderella darkness. And I mean, I personally liked it a lot, but like I said, I think some people don't. The ending is quite different, so I don't know. Beware. I don't know, I thought it was good. I liked it. I like so many of the characters. There were a lot of like moments that made me like cringe, but not like, oh, that's awful, but more like, oh no, don't do that. And then you kind of had to go on to see how it played out. So there's a lot of that. A lot of times where you're like, will she be strong enough, But it's also that kind of complexity and twisting of people, like how our choices can have a lot of impact, and a lot of consequences that we might not think of at the time. Like how we can think we're doing something good, but there could be a lot of negative impact from that good, what we think is a good decision. So yeah, like I said, I think this is really more of a cautionary tale, but it's very good. I think that you do get swept up in it. So I think if you are looking for like a dark and twisty tale that's not full on horror, you could give The Shadow in the Glass a read. I quite enjoyed it. There you go. That is it for this video. Until next time, bye.